Oh, shit. Stop, Lou.
Yeah, Laura, we'll maybe just wait another 5 minutes and then see if anybody shows up and then we can start it. Fidel's going to be late. He's in another meeting right now about a dog park.
Okay, sounds good. Am I coming through okay? Vocally,
Yes, you are.
fine?
Yep.
Awesome, great.
Are you able to share your screen or do you want me to presentation or?
No, I can share my screen. I just can't do it for some reason because I have two monitors going, so it's not going to be in the slideshow, but it'll still be the PowerPoint if that's okay.
Okay, yeah, sure, whatever works for you.
And I know that Fidel is still in the dog park meeting, although it sounded like it was starting to wrap up. So,
Yeah, he said he would be late, but we'll get started in a minute or so and then he'll join in when he can.
sure. Thank you.
Thanks, Jackie. Yeah, Lori, whenever you're ready, we can probably get started. Just let us know.
I will share my screen.
Okay.
Just let me know if
Yep.
we're able
I
to
just
see that
wanted
okay.
yeah, and I just want to do a quick introduction. So just want to welcome everyone here tonight for this public meeting on the Parkview and Auburn Street sidewalk project. I'm just going to do a brief introduction. My name is Chris Cullen. I'm the Assistant Director of Public Works here in Reading, and we have Ryan Percival on the call as well, Reading Town Engineer. Town Manager Fidel Maltez is still in another meeting, but is hoping to be able to join us soon. We also have Lori from our design consultant, TEC. And as a reminder, if I could have everyone please mute themselves when they are not speaking. And I will now turn it over to Lori, who will be giving you a brief presentation on the project. We'll then open it up to any questions that you may have. So, Laura, if you want to start, you have the floor.
Great. Thank you very much, Chris. So good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us to talk about this great Complete Streets project that we're doing for the town of Reading. My name is Lori Aho. I'm an engineer here at TEC, and we are the town's design consultant on this project. Tonight, we're just going to do a brief PowerPoint presentation to share with you some of the details about this great project. And then, as Chris said earlier, following the presentation, we will take time to answer any questions you may have. So what are Complete Streets? So these improvements are being funded by a Complete Streets grant. The Mass DOT Complete Streets funding program addresses critical gaps in transportation networks by giving cities and towns the tools and funding to advance complete streets in their community. Complete Streets grants help fund improvements to make roads safer for everyone, with a focus on pedestrians and bicyclists. Project milestones for this particular project. So the town identified a list of projects for Complete Streets prioritization. They identified Auburn Street and Parkview Road as a top priority for improvement. In September 2022, the town filed an application for Complete Streets funding for improvements to Auburn Street and Parkview Road. And in January 2023, the town was awarded $500,000 of a Complete Streets grant, which is the maximum grant allowed by Mass DOT. So why was this location chosen? Parkview Road and Auburn Street serve the Birch Meadow complex, which includes 3 schools, Birch Meadow Elementary School, Arthur W. Coolidge Middle School, and the Reading Memorial School. And it also houses the Reading YMCA and a public park area. The pedestrian improvements along Parkview Road and Auburn Street are a priority for the town due to the lack of sidewalks and accessibility. The reconstruction will improve safety, accessibility, and connectivity for the pedestrians in the Birch Meadow area. And the project would connect to a future proposed Safe Routes to School project along Oakland Road, which will improve pedestrian and bicycle accommodations. So this is a map of the project area. At the top here, you will see the Birch Meadow complex, which includes the three schools, the YMCA, and the park. And outlined here in red is the limits of the project that include Parkview Road and Auburn Street. Parkview Road beginning at Oakland, at the intersection with Oakland to Auburn Street, and then Auburn Street from Parkview Road over to the intersection of Bancroft Avenue. This slide, it just shows the existing conditions of the area and aerial view, a little bit blown up and easier to see. Note that in this case, north, I just want to point out that north is actually going to the right. That's just so that we could get everything to fit into the graphic. Parkview Road is located along the bottom of the page here, and Auburn Street is located here to the on the left side of the page. And our limits of the work, as I said earlier, go from Oakland along Parkview and up Auburn to Highland Avenue. And some of the reason for our project improvements is the lack of sidewalk and curbing along Parkview. You'll notice there's no ADA and AB compliant ramps at Parkview and Weston Road to cross over Weston. There's a lack of consistent sidewalk and curbing, and there are no marked crosswalks within project area. And then this is an area view of some of the proposed conditions that we're providing for the project. The new sidewalk is shown here in yellow. The ADA compliant pedestrian ramps are shown in this darkish tan color, and the grass strip is shown here in green. So new concrete sidewalk with vertical granite curb will be constructed along the west side of Parkview Ave from Oakland Road all the way to Auburn Street. The sidewalk will be 5 foot wide, not including the curb width. And in areas where right-of-way and space allows, we will also be installing a 2 foot wide grass strip between 2.5 foot wide grass strip between the curb and the sidewalk. The new sidewalk on Parkview Road at the intersection with Oakland will tie into a future connection to a safe versus school project that the town is currently working on with Mass DOT. And again, new crosswalks across Weston at Parkview, as well as at Highland Avenue. The town is also considering some future improvements at the intersection of Highland, Auburn, and Bancroft, which, when that is completed, will tee up Bancroft and provide safer access for pedestrians at this intersection as well. So next steps, complete the final design in the summer of 2023, prepare the bid documents for advertisement and construction in the fall of 2023, and then finally construct the proposed improvements in the spring and summer of 2024. So that pretty much wraps up our presentation. I'd like to turn it over to if anybody has any questions about the proposed improvements.
I have a question. Can you hear me?
Yep.
So I live on Parkview. I have a sidewalk in front of my house right now that was put in years and years and years ago. And I have a fence that basically comes right to the sidewalk. Will that be impacted by the new sidewalks at all?
Yeah, so as you mentioned, there are existing sidewalks in certain sections, but they're pretty, they're cracked, deteriorating, so we'll be replacing all those. There will be some fences and so forth that will have to be removed and reset for the construction of the new sidewalk, but they will be removed and then put back into place within, on your property.
Thank you. My dog started to play with his toy the second I asked that question, of course. So the town will actually, or whoever's doing it will actually fix the fence and put it back in. Is that what you said? Well,
the town will work with all the property abutters to, again, to work with you. Any private and anything that's on your property that's affected by the construction of the sidewalk will be it'll be put back into place. So the town will work with you and the contractor on that.
Okay. And a second question, do you have an idea of how long the project would take?
For sidewalk construction, we expect it to be completed all within the one construction season. So again, contractors will typically start to gear up in April of 2024, and they'll be completed within, I'd say, three months or so. They probably won't actually start construction until the summer, and it'll take about 3 months.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I have a quick question that's related to Mary Beth's question. Instead of a fence, we have a long stretch of privets that butts right up against existing sidewalk. what would be the expected impact of in that case?
Yeah, I mean, right now, we would take a look at, our surveyors went out there to determine the exact property line locations. So it could be that there may need to be some trimming done on the privet to get the sidewalk installed. But we expect that most of that will all be done within the right of way. So that's what we anticipate now. But as we move through the final design, we'll have a better idea of what impacts may occur to each individual property.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, and just to also ask, will the whole stretch of sidewalk on Parkview and Auburn all have granite curbing?
Yes, they will all have granite curbing.
Okay, great. And are you guys planning, or is the town planning, once this is all put in place, to add some more trees to the area? You know, in like the grass space?
Yeah, we'd definitely be looking at adding trees on any type of sidewalk project where we can. We'll look to add new trees, where possible.
Okay. Thank you.
Sorry, I have a newborn who started crying as soon as I unmuted. I'm also on Parkview. Could you explain again? I thought you said 5 feet and 2 feet. Did I get that wrong on the dimensions of the sidewalk and the green space?
Yeah, so the sidewalk will be will be 5 feet wide. In most areas where we can, it will be separated from the roadway with a 2-foot grass strip and then the sidewalk. But there are some areas where there's constrained right of way and grading issues where the sidewalk will be right up against the curb. And that was the explanation between some areas have grass curbs, have a grass strip, some areas won't. But wherever we can, we put the grass strip in.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
This is probably a question more for the town than the construction project itself, but a lot of residents on Parkview park in front of their homes currently for extra parking because some of the driveways are quite narrow and can only fit 2 cars. Would the town allow residents of Parkview and Auburn Street to like park at the high school during the winter months overnight, or like are we just losing parking spaces?
Well, I mean, during there's a parking ban during the winter months anyway, at certain times, so you wouldn't be able to park on the street anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
so-
we're not
on
narrowing the road. So I mean, we're not taking width away from the roadway to construct the sidewalk either. So it'll be all. It'll be all, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Sorry, no, my question is more like many of the residents on Parkview on the side that the sidewalk is going park off the street on where the sidewalk will be. And so like losing that space because the town has the right of way, would the town allow us during the winter months when you can't park off street to park somewhere else, like the high school?
Well, I mean, we have had those discussions in the past, and starting back a couple of winters ago, we did allocate a lot at the train depot, where residents, can park. We discussed the high school, but then that makes it difficult when we have to try to clear the parking lots for, to get school ready. So initially, I would have to say no, that that we would not allow parking as we don't now at the high school. But I mean that's definitely a conversation that I guess we could have again. But as of right now, the only designated parking lot during a parking ban is at the train station at the moment.
Anybody else have any questions or any follow-up questions for me?
Hey, can I ask, can you hear me?
Yes, yep.
Sorry, I just have two things. I live on the corner of Auburn and Highland and Bancroft. So I have a good stretch of land going along Auburn streets. And I know you mentioned you're going to take care of some things like shrubs. What about sprinkler systems?
Sprinkler systems, if they are in the right of way, we will, they will take care of those. Again, all the work that we're proposing for permanent is proposed to be within the town's layout. There will be some temporary regrading of, loam and seed areas and potential tie-ins to walkways that'll need to take place on private property that the town will work with you on. But yes, if there is a sprinkler head that's located that will be impacted by the work, then it would be taken care of.
But if I
Okay.
can just add to that, Lori, though, if is a sprinkler head on town property?
Well, we thought it was on our property when it
Okay.
was installed. The
Okay,
because they have to survey before they install it.
okay,
But I know the sprinkler heads, like they go right out to almost
Right.
Auburn Street. So
Yeah.
And a second one, how did you decide on that route? Because I live right on the corner and I see the kids walking to school. Well, the few kids that do walk, and they go down past my house down Bancroft, take a right on Weston, and go Longfellow. I don't see anybody walking the route that you're proposing here.
Again, I think the town.
I'm just wondering how you decided on that.
Chris, I don't know if you want to weigh in on that, but I think, again, I don't think there's a lot of children walking along this route because they don't have the ability to walk along this route because there's no sidewalks there and it's unsafe. Right. So we're trying to provide that safe connection for them to walk along this route to get to school.
yeah, this route is definitely the most feasible for installing a sidewalk. Like there's issues on Longfellow, trying to get a sidewalk in down there. This was definitely the most feasible, where we are going to put the sidewalk in, proposing it.
Okay, thank you.
There's a question in the chat from Pamela. I don't know if you can see that, but she wants to know if the town will be plowing the sidewalks or if we're responsible to plow in front of our house.
At this time, the town will not be plowing those sidewalks. We haven't had those discussions, but when this comes up every year, the town already plows 45 miles of sidewalks, and if we're going to add sidewalks, we're going to have to take some sidewalks off somewhere because we're pretty much at our capacity. So the answer would have to be no for right now anyway.
Just to join in on that part of the conversation, that I've lived on Parkview for 30 years, and these houses are very close together. And when we have big snows, it's virtually impossible to find anywhere else to put snow. So I'm just throwing it out there that it might be a little tricky to always have every bit of the sidewalk cleaned off, because we have neighbors that throw their snow on the sidewalk now. So it's like, I foresee that that's going to be hard because of the way these houses are so incredibly close together and there's just nowhere to put snow.
If we have any like follow-up questions after this, is there Chris, should we be emailing you or is there somebody else we could
Yeah.
email?
No, that's fine. You can either email myself, the town engineer, Ryan Percival, or Fidel. Any of us, will be able to get answers for you if you have any more questions.
Thank you.
We have another question here. Will the town be ripping up existing sidewalk on the route? And the answer is yes. We'll be removing the old sidewalk just to install new sidewalk in its place. Does anyone have any more questions about the project? The answer is no. Laura, do you have anything final to say, or?
I don't. Just want to thank everybody for attending this evening. I know it's tough on a nice warm evening, summer evening. So I really appreciate everybody's time and attention. And again, if you, as Chris already said, if you have questions, you can email the town, and we'll be happy to help out answering anything additional you have. So thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.